podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, May 30th, 2021. This is episode 1801. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Yes, it's time to talk tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. A little later in the hour, Abuelsamid will join us, our car guy. We'll talk about photography with Chris Marquardt. Actually, I guess he's taking the day off today. So no Chris Marquardt today, but Rod Pyle, spaceman, will join us in hour number 3 to talk about space and space exploration. 8888 Ask Leo, that's my phone number if you want to talk about tech of any kind, anything with a chip in it, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still reach me, but you've got to use the Skype thing or some sort of Skype-like object to call. Shouldn't cost anything, though, because it's toll free. 888-827-5536. Now, let's see. There's a website. Of course, what kind of show would this be if it didn't have a website? Actually, I think websites are rapidly going to be passé. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Ew. But, sorry about that. But, let me just wipe you off. But I feel like websites are not, they're kind of last decade. You know, back in 2019, we thought they were all the rage. We still go to websites. But honestly, thanks to mobile, I think, a lot of what we consume on the internet comes to us from the internet, but in apps, things like that, news apps and so forth. However, should you choose to fire up a browser, you can go to techguylabs.com, and that is the place where the show notes go. Everything I say on the show, including links, lists, all that stuff is written down by our trained scribe, James DeRuvo. Been doing this a long time, not just for me. He did it for the other guys for a long time too. Right, James? He puts it all up there, techguylabs.com. Then after the fact, we put the audio and video from the shows. Yes, we shoot video. I don't know why, but we do. We put that up on techguylabs.com, and there's no sign up. There's no fee. I don't want your email. Just come on in. Come on in. It'd be good. Be good. So, big scary article by Dan Gooden, who's really very good, a security guy in Ars Technica, this week, warning us in the most scary terms. Amazon devices will soon automatically share your internet with neighbors. Amazon's experiment wireless mesh networking turns users into guinea pigs. Shame on you, Dan. That is nasty. That's link bait in the worst kind. Yes, it's true that starting June 8th, Amazon will enable something called Amazon Sidewalk. And it's built into your late model Amazon devices like your Echoes, your Fire TVs, your Ring security doorbells or cameras, your outdoor lights, your motion sensors, your tile trackers. All of it will be part of this system. But share your internet is kind of sounds like, well, people can use it to get on the internet. They can't. Too slow. It's not designed for that at all. Plus, it's completely anonymized, so that it isn't your internet. You're contributing, which I think is a great thing, a positive thing, to a wireless mesh network that's designed for things like location tracking. Not your location, but people with tile trackers. There's a mailbox sensor you could put on there. It basically adds IoT connectivity to the world. And Amazon has spent a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of very good engineering to make it private and secure. I think it could be a huge boon. But stories like this, Dan Gooden, shame on you. Stories, and I bet he didn't even write the headline. Stories like this scare people. And they go, I got to turn that off. Our security guy, Steve Gibson, he does our podcast Security Now on the TWiT network, looked at the white paper, went through it, said, no, this is properly designed. It's good. In fact, the only thing Dan says is, well, you know how things go wrong. It could be bad. There's no evidence of that. He says, well, you know, Bluetooth's had problems. Yeah, okay. Wi-Fi's had problems. Yeah, okay. This is something else. It's called LoRa, or long-range networking. He talks about at the end how to turn it off. And I'll tell you as well, if you want to. You have to go into the Alexa. I don't want to say it out loud. I don't want to wake up anybody's Echo device. You have to go into the app on your phone. Go to More, select Settings, select Account Settings, select Amazon Sidewalk, turn it off. So it's buried deep. He says, no doubt the benefits of Sidewalk for some people will outweigh the risks, but for the many, if not the vast majority of users, there's little upside and plenty of downside. Yeah, no, that's wrong. I think that's wrong, Dan. And I think that's a scare tactic. So I want to be on record saying it's well designed. It's designed to, yeah, I know it comes from Amazon. So people say, oh, it's going to be snooping on us. But they knew that would be an issue. So they took great pains to design something that was private. It is not sharing your internet, not in any significant way. It is really doing a favor to you and your neighbors. You could put one of these tags on your dog, and as your dog wanders through the neighborhood, it will be seen by the Sidewalk network, the mesh network. It's not fast enough for cameras or even Wi-Fi or internet access. It's not. It's slow. It uses the maximum bandwidth is 80 kilobits. Folks, that's like your modem, your dial-up modem. And it won't be most of the time that. 80 kilobits is nothing. Total monthly data used by Sidewalk is capped at 500 megabytes. That's about 10 minutes of high-definition video. If you want to turn it off, I can understand. But I would encourage people not to be scared. There are some real benefits to having this network. And because so many people have Echo devices, I think in any, these things go half a mile. So in any populated area, as long as there's somebody with an Echo every say, quarter of a mile, you're going to have a nice network that I think will be very powerful and usable. So I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't be afraid. We have to, there are benefits to technology. The real, there's good things and bad things to technology, just as there is in many powerful things. There's good and bad. Cars get in wrecks, but they also get us from place to place. Technology has positive and negative. Lately, we've been really focusing on the negative, forgetting how positive it's been. Imagine what COVID and the pandemic would have been like without technology to keep us connected. Your kids wouldn't have been able to go to school at all. A lot of us wouldn't have had a job because without the internet, we wouldn't have been able to work. So let's not go crazy here. It's good to acknowledge the potential problems, and when there are security flaws, yes, acknowledge them and fix them. But just to say, oh, I'm not going to do it. It's the risk. There's no risk. I tell you what, the minute somebody comes up with a risk, I'll let you know. You can turn it off. How about that? How about that? And we know, by the way, that Amazon clearly wants you to leave it on. It's on by default, and it will turn on and I have Echo devices all around me. All of those will turn on June 8th. I guess that scares people. And they definitely, as you heard when I've described it, buried the settings. We know that that's something companies do. In fact, a lawsuit against Google by the Arizona Attorney General has revealed documents that showed that Google itself knows how hard it is to find those privacy settings, and they buried them. They buried them. When Google, this is from the Business Insider who read the documents, when Google tested versions of its Android operating system that made privacy settings easier to find, users took advantage of them, which Google viewed as a, quote, problem. According to the documents, to solve that problem, Google then sought to bury these settings deeper within the settings menu. That's the trick they all use. You make them deep enough. Sometimes we call it the tyranny of the default. Whatever the default is, that's what 90% of people are just going to go with it. And in most cases, that's fine, I think. But that's what the show is to elevate your awareness, even with things like Sidewalk, which I don't think is a problem, but if you do, we'll put that in the show notes. In fact, we'll put a link to the Ars Technica article so you can read the scare if you should feel like it. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. $999. Don't dial that number. Dial 800. I'm sorry, don't even dial that number. Dial 888-827-5536. You will get this person right here, Kim Schaffer, the unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer, our phone angel. Hello.
I think I can't use that name anymore.
That is such a great song.
I broke this week, so.
You broke? Oh, yeah, you broke your tendon there.
So it might not be fitting.
But you should see the other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whew. She's limping around a little bit. I'm sorry to. Yeah.
See the other guy? Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I did. My Google Home thingy did that the other day, too, because I was listening to the radio and they were talking to their Google Home and mine went off. I went, oh, God.
I think it's a case of the modern life that, you have little robots in your house that are talking to you and respond to you even if you don't talk to them.
Exactly.
And they're frustrating too, We had our Amazon Echo in the kitchen had stopped responding, and then I realized, for some reason it's decided to send its audio through speakers that don't exist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought your son just unplugged it again.
No. Well, that's true too. No, through the kitchen. It said, I'm going to send the audio to the kitchen Sonos. There is no kitchen Sonos. I don't know what are you talking about? So they have minds of their own. That's the thing. They have minds of their own. For the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally did, and I went, and I fixed it. You know how it is. There's something satisfying about fixing it.
Well, if anybody can, it's you.
Well, that's what my wife thinks. And boy, has she been disabused. Duped. She's been duped. Who can I start this
it's
fabulous...
Old Friends Week. We got Evan and Diane in Chicago. So let's go with Evan in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, he started calling early. I saw the line ringing before I began. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Happy Memorial... I guess you don't say happy Memorial Day. Memorial Day. Yes. We all are so grateful to those who have given their all for our country. So thank you to the families and loved ones of the fallen soldiers on this Memorial Day. Evan, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you.
Have a meaningful Memorial Day. That's what our Chandra says we should say. Have a meaningful Memorial Day. It's not just for barbecue or the Indy 500. So what's up?
So I want to get your thoughts. I decided to buy the new iPad Pro, and I have to say I'm a little disappointed. Maybe have a little buyer's remorse, which I generally never do. I moved up from the third generation iPad Pro, and I'm sure the new one is better. I'm sure it's much, much faster, but there's no software that takes advantage of it.
That's exactly right.
4K video. So I'm just wondering if it's $2,600 better.
You bought the top of the line.
I did one under you. I just went with the terabyte. But,
yeah. So if you go with, as I did, the new M1 12.9 inch, it's got the same processor as an Apple's MacBook Air and MacBook Pro and Mac Mini and the new iMacs too. So you really, that's their top of the line processor right now. Won't be for a long time, ever, but it will for now. Probably stop in about a week. A week from tomorrow when they announce new laptops. But in any event, right now, that's as fast as a processor as Apple makes. 16 gigs of RAM. Now you chose a terabyte. You can even get 2 terabytes. The one I got with 2 terabytes, 16 gigs of RAM, the M1 processor, a Thunderbolt 3 port is $23.99 before keyboard. So honestly, if you bought the MacBook Air, you'd get the same thing for $1,000 less.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't really need another computer, but I really day to day I kind of live on my iPad and use my computer when the iPad won't do something. But the software really is limited on an iPad, so I'll be interested to see what they do at WWDC. You know, are they going to come up with a much more capable version of iOS to utilize the extra power, or is it?
It's a good question. It's actually was my complaint 2 years ago with the first iPad Pro, the 12.9 inch in 2018. This is stunning amount of power, and that only had 6 gigs of RAM. This is a stunning amount of power, but the software just doesn't live up to it. It's not just you and me. I mean, many have said this. This is what kind of the reviewers complain. I bought it because I thought Apple must be up to something. I fall for this every year. Apple must be up to something. There must be a reason. So, and remember, I do it because it's my job. So I need to review these. But my reaction is the same as yours. Now, I have been using it full-time instead of the laptop just to see. And I have to say, over time with the Files program, it's a little bit more of a real computer. I think it's designed for young people who grew up with the iPhone, maybe weren't so computer focused, who want a touch screen, who like the modality, if I again use that word, of the iPad. Apps are full screen for the most part. You do one thing at a time. Apps don't share data for the most part. Each app has its own data storage, but you don't have to think about files. You don't have to save on an iPad. It's just, that's a given. And I think there is a group of people, probably a younger generation, that, and some people were just not computer savvy or interested, that all makes sense, and that's the best way to go. But it is awfully expensive, and to date, Apple's done nothing. So that's a good question. What will they announce June 7th at the Worldwide Developers Conference? I don't think anything. This has been something that's been going on for years. I don't think Apple's going to suddenly make this a computer. They have 2 different computers. They have an iPad Pro and they have a MacBook, and that's that. It's a little frustrating because, for instance, they still didn't put as good a camera in it as in the iPhone, which really bugs me. If you're going to do
me, but I'm not going to carry this thing as a camera for the most.
No, I guess that's but there are they pushed it for filmmakers with that screen. It's a reference monitor. I mean, honestly, I can't tell the difference. But if you've
so I downloaded an HDR movie and I synced them up, and yes, I can see a little difference side by side.
It's minor, isn't it?
Without that, I had no idea.
It's minor.
Great. It always has.
I think, my advice for normal people would be you don't need it. If you've got an iPad Pro 2018, 2019, 2020, if you've got any of the late model iPad Pros, you're all right. There's no need to upgrade. Maybe Apple will do something. But I don't think so. I don't think they're trying to make it more like a Mac or trying to make the Mac more like an iPad. I don't think they're trying to do either. I think they see these as, this is what they say too, and what reporters who've been briefed by them say as well, is they see it as 2 different lines for 2 different use cases, kind of 2 different kinds of users. But they want the iPad to be as capable as a MacBook, but just different. It's the best screen. It's the best portable screen they make. It's better than the MacBook Pro screen.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I just don't think I can see the difference.
Well, for instance, I was thinking this morning, if you want a headphone jack, you should buy the MacBook Air because they still have a headphone jack. There's good reasons to buy a MacBook, save the money, get the power. Although I think a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro would be pretty close to the same price once you added the, put in the storage and RAM. But
yeah, I don't mind spending the money. I just want to get something for that money that's going to better my life. Otherwise,
it's really, I think it comes down to whether you prefer the touchscreen iPad style, iOS style, or you prefer the Mac OS style. And I think
I can adapt to either of them. When I'm using one, I don't miss the other.
Yeah, like I said, instead of normally, I get up in the morning, I get out my MacBook and I do my, news review and email checks and things like that on that. But I've been doing it since I got the iPad a couple of days ago. I've been doing it on the iPad. It's fine. I got the Logitech Combo keyboard, which I really like. It's more of a case. I do have the Magic Keyboard from Apple from the last generation, and I could use that. But I think I
like the Magic Keyboard. It's not as good if you're going to use it in bed, though, because you can't fold it.
You can't. It's not, honestly, I think for me, but I'm an old timer, the MacBook is probably a better choice. I'm very interested to see what they announce in a week, because I think they're going to announce high-end MacBook Pros. I think
I'm going to hold off because it'll be within the 2 weeks, and if they don't come up with something that makes me want to say, hey, that's really going to be helpful, then maybe I'll send it back.
Yeah, you still have a return time. This is Carmine just posted this in the chat room. Apple reportedly limits apps to 5 gigs of RAM, even on the 16 gig M1. So
they're going to make some change, I think.
You got to wonder what's going on. Like, why would you put 16 in? Just because they could? I don't know. This is from a developer who says if we allocate more than 5 gigs of RAM, the app will crash. So, in other words, it doesn't matter. And in most cases, you don't multitask on the Mac. On the iPad. So there's really no benefit to all that RAM. It's very strange.
And they do run into the problem that they're going to, if they're going to make it universal to all iPads, they have to make it work with old ones too. So.
Yeah, so they're not going to. Hey, I got to run. Thank you, Evan. Great to hear from you. Hope all's well.
Thanks. Take care. Tell Lisa I said hi.
I will. Take care. You know what that means. He's low riding his way into our hearts, Mr. Sam Abuelsamid, principal researcher at Guidehouse Insights, podcaster. He does that great Wheel Bearings podcast for car folk at wheelbearings.media. I was all excited to watch the Indy 500 get off this morning. It was fun. But, after watching the Formula One race last week in Monaco, there's a big difference.
It is a little different. It's a different kind of experience watching them race around an oval.
Yeah.
I mean, they are at much higher consistent speeds at Indianapolis.
That's true.
They're
going fast. Wow.
Qualifying, the top qualifying speeds this year were about just shy of 232 miles an hour average speed over 4 laps.
That's amazing.
And peaks on the straightaways, I think they're over 240, which is more than you get in an F1 car. But it's different, but there are a lot of similarities too.
F1, especially at Monaco, you don't have a lot of opportunities for overtaking, whereas with these long straightaways in the Indy 500, it's a little more competitive. You can try to edge your way around.
Especially at Monaco, and
there's
street
no room.
courses in general.
There's no room at all.
Monaco in particular, because it's such an old course, the streets are very narrow, and F1 cars have gotten a lot bigger over the years. They're longer and wider than they used to be, and so I think last week there was a grand total of 1 pass during the race.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
On the track.
It seems kind of dull,
and
really.
That's not unusual.
Right.
This is why my preference is watching racing on natural terrain road courses. Where the whole thing is not lined by concrete barriers all the way around. You have some terrain change, and and there's more room to pass and for action to happen.
How much of of course, every manufacturer, especially of performance vehicles and hot cars and expensive cars, wants to be in these races. But how much of the technology makes its way into the vehicle that you and I drive every day?
It depends. In recent, in the last 20, 25 years, less so than it used to be. It used to be a lot more. Things like disc brakes and fuel injection, and there were a lot of technologies that started off in racing and made their way to road cars, but it's become less and less as the regulations have pushed road cars ahead. Although things like, there's a lot of things in terms of safety that they've done in these cars that is really advanced.
I did notice that. These races are so much safer than they used to be. They used to be really scary. Not quite so bad these days. Now you're sitting in front of a picture that's straight from my fantasies. Actually, I imagine a F-150 Lightning, Ford's new electric F-150 truck, pulling a beautiful Airstream down the coast road in California. But what is that? A Toyota? No, that is a Lightning.
That's the
Lightning. Oh, it is. I see it now. Yeah, that's my dream. You just put the two together. I always wanted an Airstream too.
Well, and that's why I wanted to talk about this one, because this year we've got a bunch of electric pickup trucks coming to market. And one of the top reasons people identify for buying pickup trucks is for towing. Clearly, pickups are not the only type of vehicles that can tow. SUVs and crossovers can tow as well. Even, Tesla Model X, can tow up to 5,000 pounds. And with EVs in particular, because they have so much torque, they are really, in many respects, really good for towing.
Oh, good to know.
Actually, back in 2019, Ford actually published a video on YouTube showing an early prototype F-150 Lightning towing a train.
Oh, I remember that.
Pulling a 1 million pound train. And it's not that hard to actually tow the vehicle. The problem is, and this is actually not a problem that's unique to electric vehicles. For any type of vehicle, when you're towing, the energy required to tow a trailer, both because of the extra weight and the aerodynamic drag and all kinds of other factors, takes a lot more energy to tow a trailer. And so, if you are towing with a gas vehicle, you can generally count on your fuel mileage being cut generally at least in half, if not more. And I guess it was 2019 now, I was driving on the original media drive program for the new Ford Explorer with the hybrid. I did a towing demo with that one, pulling a 5,000 pound boat with an Explorer hybrid. And I noticed, the Explorer hybrid, by itself will get about 23, 24 miles per gallon combined. Towing that boat, it was about 10.5, 11 miles per gallon. And the same thing is going to be true with electric trucks or SUVs.
Although I saw yesterday that Ford said the mileage we've given you for the Lightning is actually towing, while towing.
Well, not necessarily towing, but
while hauling.
With payload, with 1,000 pounds of payload.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
So passengers and gear and stuff.
They're not trying to get away with anything.
Yeah, so they're actually being. It sounds like they're being trying to underpromise and overdeliver on the range, especially given the use case of the truck.
Right, but also if you're towing a trailer, having that giant battery pack, that's going to be kind of nice, right? You could power the trailer with that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean you could certainly, and like with the Lightning in particular, because you've got that Pro Power on board system, you can take power from the plugs, the outlets in the bed, and plug in things in your trailer. So that's not a problem.
Idea. Yeah.
But the challenge you have is that your range, when you're towing, is regardless of
still going to go down.
Sure. It's going to be about, you can count on it being about half of what it would be without a trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, this is something to consider. So
I won't be going very far down that Highway 1 there. Every 100 miles I'll be stopping and charging.
Roughly, yeah. I mean, late 2019, there was an EV event in Austin, Texas, and my friend Chelsea Sexton drove an Audi e-tron, towing an old GM EV1 from somewhere in Oklahoma.
That's a
down
funny
to Austin.
stunt. That's a hoot.
Yeah.
The original electric car.
Exactly, yeah. And, she had to stop about every 100 miles to charge it up. And that's certainly there's a lot of time associated with that, and most of the charging stations today are still set up for with like pull-in bays, where you pull in and sit there for half an hour to an hour to charge, which is not very convenient if you have a trailer hooked up. You either have to pull across and block a couple of bays with this thing, or you have to unhook your trailer and plug in and charge and then hook it back up again. So Electrify America has started building up some of their charging stations with drive-through charging bays. So it's more like a gas station in that respect. So it'll be a lot less hassle. It's still means you're gonna have to charge more frequently, but at least they're taking that into account as we have these electric trucks come to market, like the Rivian R1T, the Cybertruck, and various others, and the Hummer. They're all gonna have pretty impressive towing capabilities, but you do have to keep in mind that you're gonna have to stop a lot more frequently, spend a lot more time sitting there waiting to charge, and so if you do tow a lot. For the time being, the electric trucks may not be your best option if you tow frequently. If you're doing it once in a while, no problem. And depending on how far you're going, it may be fine. But if you're doing it all the time, then it might not be your best choice yet. Down the road, it probably will be a better choice. But for now, it might be worth considering sticking with a gas or a diesel truck.
You've dashed my hopes, but then I don't have the Airstream either, so it's okay. Sam Abuelsamid, it's great to talk to you. And what were you talking about today on wheel bearings?
Let's see. We talked about a whole bunch of things.
Everything.
Yeah, we talked about Tesla removing the radar from the Model 3.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
The new Super Cruise system on the Cadillac Escalade, the Polestar 2.
If you want more of Sam, wheelbearings.media. Sam and his partner Roberto Baldwin, who's also a good friend, love to talk cars. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Leo.
Greg Bilton says the Cybertruck is a cool concept, but the production version won't be like the concept. Is that true? They're not going to make it look like a battle vehicle?
Probably not. I think that the design of the Cybertruck is going to pose some serious problems with pedestrian protection standards and crash safety. Yeah. So I think they're probably going to have to change it somewhat.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I want to be in Mad Max.
Who's running the board for TWiT today? Because I don't have a Zoom link yet for the show.
Oh yeah, we sent John.
Okay.
They're on their way. John's doing it, and he'll send it out within the hour. Cool. He has to, we change it. I don't know if we change it, but we'll send it to you. Is it always the same link for the same machine? Every meeting gets a unique link because John's just that kind of guy.
Yeah, I've got the regular one that I use for this show, but I wasn't sure about the other one.
TWiT will have a new link. And it will arrive in your mail soon. Why? You want to start now? You want to just sit on the?
No. I just for as long as I'm here.
We just keep you on.
No, I've been podcasting for 2 hours already.
You're probably exhausted. Yes.
Well, I have a few things I need to take care of before TWiT, so I'm not going to stick around for the top of the hour, but I will do that next week.
We're doing the spring cleaning this weekend. So the junk guys are coming Tuesday, so I have till Tuesday to clean out my office. And that reminds me, John, I'm going to be doing the Leo's Garage Sale, my annual event, where I take all this stuff I don't need anymore or want anymore and put it in the conference room and let the employees grab it as fast as their little hands can. So how should I do this time? I mean, Maybe, I don't know, because nobody's here, and so the people who were, last time I did it, Burke and John got it all. Burke, John, and Ant, that was it. All right, Sam, have a good one.
All right, I'll talk to you in a couple hours.
Get a break. All right, take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888, ask Leo, the phone number. On we go with the show to Diane in Chicago. Hello, Diane.
Hi, Leo. Please help save me. How do I? Honest, this is crucial. How do I share, transfer, move all of my photos from my main Gmail account to another Gmail account and do it on my laptop, not on the phone?
So they're in Google Photos, not Gmail. They're in your Google account. Is that right?
correct.
Yeah.
Which is a Google Gmail account, correct?
Yeah, well, Gmail's the email program. Most people have a Google account because they got Gmail. So it is associated with that Gmail account, but it's your photos.google.com, just like your contacts are in contacts.google.com. So it really is independent of Gmail. But I understand. Believe me, that's the way people talk about it. My Gmail account is my Google account. So what would be really nice is if Google had a button that said, transfer all the photos. And by the way, you should do this now because remember, they're going to start charging you for photo storage in 2 weeks.
Tomorrow, isn't it?
Is it tomorrow or is it the 15th? Maybe it is tomorrow.
The 1st.
Holy cow.
Yes. Now you see the urgency.
Now I see the urgency. So there are ways to do this without downloading them all and then uploading them all, which is what you definitely don't want to do. So, there is a, let's see, there's a transfer command that will let you transfer it to another account. So I think what you want is cloud transfer. So if you want to transfer all of the storage in one Google account to another, you want the cloud transfer, which is hidden in somewhere. Let's see. Is it in the copy to folder? It might be. Well, I'm gonna have to zoom in a little bit on my Google account here to look at it. Maybe this is a third-party service. Oh, this is a third-party service. Sorry, this is MultCloud. 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 That's probably. Let's see if we can. Google should have a way to do this, shouldn't they? Golly, maybe they don't want you to do this. How to transfer file? I'm looking. I'll select them all, and then no, don't download and upload. We don't want to do that. You could share the albums. Yeah, Google doesn't give you a way. There's the takeout, the Google takeout. There's the. Oh, this is frustrating. Yeah, Google should have a button because it's just on their hard drive, right? It should just be, they wouldn't even have to move the pictures. They would just have to assign it to a different thing. So I guess if you don't want to use a third-party program, the easiest way to do it would be to share it all and then to the new account and then download it into the new account. And that would all happen pretty transparently. You wouldn't actually have to download it to your computer at all. Boy, that's frustrating. Google.
Leo, when I tried to do that, it said file failed.
Oh. So you shared all the pictures to the new account, and then when you went into the new account, and there's your shared stuff from your old account, and when you said download it, it wouldn't let you do it.
It said file failed. And I didn't want to do it all, just specific ones, like when I'm at Petra in Jordan or when I'm at Easter Island. I mean, photos that I can't get back.
Petra's amazing, isn't it? I've never been to Easter Island. Was that amazing?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So there is the chat room is saying there's something for free called Cloud Store.
Okay.
Cloud Store Transfer. No, that's not it. Chat room, do you have a link to that? Cloudsfer. Sorry. CLOUDSFER. This is, you know what? This is a good thing to know about. I'm glad you asked this question. Cloud migration between cloud storage providers. Cloudsfer. Terrible name. It's like transfer, but instead of tran, it's got the word cloud. Provided by Tsunami with a T, on-prem cloud transfer, and you can try it for free. So maybe the free version would give you enough to do this.
I'm only moving 3,000 pictures.
Yeah, I bet you could do that in the free. And they support, by the way, not just Google, but everything. So that's kind of cool. You can move it from Flickr to Google and so forth. With Cloudsfer migration tool, you could transfer your photos and videos from Google Photos to any cloud storage or backup photos and videos to... Yeah, it looks like you can do it. So thank you, chat room. Clouds Fur. Terrible name.
Spell the sir.
CLOUDSFER. And then Google Photos Help has. Okay, so this is what Google says. And this is the share your library, but you already tried that and it didn't work. So let's see. Yeah, that's what Google's recommending in their Google support. I'm trying to move all my uploaded college. You know what this happens to is a lot of people have Google accounts through their school, and then they leave school, and the school says, all right, you got 3 months to get your data off of here because we're going to deactivate your account. So share your library with your other email. You can add all the photos to the library of the second account. Archived photos are excluded, but it works for everything else. This is what Google says. Any photos you save from a shared library won't take up storage until you stop sharing the library. Okay. So I'll put a link to this in the show notes as well. So we got a couple of links. But I think Clouds First sounds like the way to do it. Yeah. Wow. Get it done. Get her done. You got a little time. That's it.
Midnight.
I thought it was the 15th. Now I'm got to think about this. Basically, I'm going to keep my Google account, but you'll want to upload every photo that's not there because those will be free up until the deadline, and then from then on they start charging.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, it ends Tuesday. Holy cow. Well, we've got our Memorial Day work cut out for us. Thank you, Diane, for asking. That's a really important call. I'm glad we could get that in. Everything going well in the Windy City?
Oh, it's great. Actually, I'm not in Chicago proper. I'm on the I'm in one of the suburbs.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you would you recommend me buying storage 1 month until I get this done and then letting the storage go, or would you recommend that I move all of my photos onto my flash drive?
Well, the good news is are you getting rid of the old account?
No, I'm going to keep it.
So the good news is you can keep those photos there forever and never pay. Because anything you've uploaded now up to June 1st is free forever. It's only going to start charging for new photos after June 1st. So that account's fine. In fact, what you should do is say, I'm not going to upload anything new to that account, and it will be free forever. It's also free for Pixel phone owners, and there are some exceptions, but yeah. And then the backup thing is takeout.google.com will let you download those at any time. In fact, I've done that. If I actually at one point downloaded, and it was a pain because they come down in a weird format, but I downloaded every photo in my Google Photos library just to have a backup of it. But I think Google's reliable. The only issue is, and it can happen, and I've heard it happen to people, you've heard it on this show, sometimes Google, for reasons known only to them, kills your account, in which case you lose access to those photos. So it is probably good to have it somewhere else. Cloudsfire, I'm going to have to take a look at that. Give that a try. That sounds like it might be a good solution. Great to talk to you. Thank you for calling, Diane, and reminding us Tuesday's the day. For some reason, I thought we had to the 15th. Oh, no. That's a crazy name. What are they thinking, Diane? Cloudsfire. How do you even spell that? I'm glad you called. That's a really, this is a big issue. I didn't realize it was Tuesday, June 1st. After that, any new photos and videos you upload will count towards the 15 gigabytes of free storage that comes with every Google account, and then you could pay for Google One, which I use, $2 a month for 100 gigabytes. You don't have, how many gigabytes do you have?
I have 3. Oh, I have many.
Many. That's a good number. Me too. I have many as well. Petra's amazing. When were you in Petra?
5 years ago when it was safe.
Yeah, we went 2 years ago. I don't know if it's safe or not now. Jordan is a pretty safe country, but Petra is just amazing. And then you saw the Easter Island statues.
Yes.
When did you see them?
After I left Petra.
What? One trip? You saw? Did you do a world tour?
Well, no, I just went to many places in about 8 weeks and to Dubai.
You went everywhere.
No, I still have to go to New Zealand to see the Maoris.
Oh, wow. This is like your bucket list?
It is. You know that book, 100 Places to See Before You Die?
Yeah, you're doing it?
Yes. Oh, yes. And I go by myself with one backpack. So when I get off the plane, everything I have is with me. And I have a guide standing there holding my name. I walk over to him, and he stays with me until I leave.
You're so smart.
I'm not on a bus with a bunch of people that want to shop.
You're a traveler, Diane. That's the best way to do it. I think what a wonderful, life goal. Do you think you'll get to all 100?
Oh, yes. And I was in Varanasi before they had the virus, and I saw the people being cremated. I was on the Ganges River at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. I'd love to do that. Oh.
I went into Jesus' mother's house in Israel.
Yeah. Wow. 100 Places to See Before You Die. That's a book?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And you're just, do you have like a red pen and you check them off when you're done?
Yes, and I only go to those that I really want to see. And there's another one called 1,000 Places to See.
Oh, I see that one. I'm not going to live long enough for 1,000. I'll just do 100. Thank you very much. What a great idea. Good for you.
Yes.
Diane, thanks. Always a pleasure.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Just going to all 100 places. Wow. That's so cool. That's the way to travel. You do it all, pack it all in a backpack. You have a guide. He meets you at the airport, takes you there. A 1,000 places too many. Wow. It's very tempting. Oh, there's a calendar. I don't think I have enough years left to do 1,000. I really want to go to India, but Lisa says she's under no circumstances. So I'm so jealous. Diana's seen the Ganges and Petra is really interesting. But that is one of the problems. Is a lot of the places. I'm not sure I'd want to go to Egypt these days. I guess you could. It's getting a little hairy in some of these places. Yeah, I know. So let's say I have 30 years left, which is optimistic. Yeah, but no, I probably have only 20 or maybe 15 travel years left. You know, I can get spry and get around. 15 years, that's got to be 20 places a year. I don't know if I'll get to 100. I would do if I did that, I would do a podcast. I would do a 100-episode podcast. Oh, I know what's floating in the river. I wouldn't go in the river. Isn't Diane great? She's the one, I think, who said, I love my computer like I love a man. Yeah, you know, a lot of these places, even if they're politically unstable, like, you know, Jordan, there's so much revenue from the tourists that they're very, you know, even Egypt. We were in Egypt last year in the Valley of the Kings and Queens, and it was fine. I'm not sure I'd want to see the pyramids in Cairo right now, but they need the tourist money, so. The Dead Sea was amazing. The Dead Sea was amazing. Lisa and I floated in that. We couldn't stop giggling. Yeah, that's what I think Big Island. Petra felt very safe. So those are Bedouins that are... I took a picture of a family in Petra that was living up in above Petra. It's one of my favorite photos. This is in the just right, kind of above the hills in Petra, and they were kind of living there. So they're Bedouin. That's interesting. Yeah, I just love this picture. They were very kind. I said, would you pose for me? Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888, ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. I apologize. I'm so glad Diane called to remind me. And I should remind you that this is it for Google Photos unlimited free storage. This is something Google's been offering for at least a decade, I think. I love Google Photos. The story of Google Photos has not been a happy story in some ways. There was a great program, not free, called Picasa, Picasa. It was just right. There's of course a ton of programs for photo editing and photo processing out there. But Picasa was just right for like organizing your photos, tagging them, naming them, doing some simple editing. I think a lot of people who have photo collections used Picasa. Then Google bought them, made the app free. That was good news. But we should have seen the trouble coming. Picasa also had a part of it called Picasa Web, which allowed you to store your photo albums on the web, share them with others. It was really cool. Google incorporated that into Google Photos. They said they were going to incorporate some of the editing and tagging features into the Google Photos. Some is the right operative word. They did, but not all. So the functionality of Picasa was lost. But Google Photos always had this great, come on, we will store your photos, not the originals, but at a slightly compressed, although my experience has been, even though they turn them into JPEGs and compress them, they really look good. It's a kind of a nice backup for your camera phone or your for anything, even for pro photographer. And then if you bought one of Google's own phones, the Pixel phones, if you bought one of them, they said, well, you get unlimited storage for the originals as well and video and so forth. All of that's going to end starting Tuesday. Google Photos will give you 15 gigabytes. Now, that's a lot, free. But then after that, you'll have to pay for their storage service, Google One, which isn't, it's among the least expensive cloud storage services. You get 100 gigabytes for $2 a month. I think I have a terabyte or two of storage there. And then Google also offers really easy ways to get your photos up there. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone, there's a Google Photos app, and it will copy your photos up, which is nice. So when I take a picture with my iPhone, I store it, in Apple's Photos, but it also gets stored in Google Photos. So you have it in two places. That's nice. Android, same thing. And if you have a Pixel phone, it'll store the originals, which is nice, the high quality originals. Although again, I don't see a big difference between the two. I think even the slightly compressed versions are still pretty good. 80%, according to Google, of Google Photos users should be able to store about 3 years of content within 15 gigs. That's pretty good. And you will get an email. And in the Photos app, once you get close to hitting your limit. In fact, you can even in the Google account get an estimate of how long your storage is going to last. And they also have they added very recently a new tool that lets you manage how much photo and video content stored in the Google Drive, so that you can say, well, if like Diane say, well, I only want the pictures from those. I don't need the receipts. So I take pictures of everything on my phone, right? If I have a receipt, I take a picture of it. If there's a menu at a restaurant, I take a picture of it. You don't want to store those forever on Google Photos. So Google now has a tool that'll let you get rid of stuff you'd like to delete, including, by the way, blurry shots and screenshots. Google said when they announced this that 4 trillion photos are stored on Google Photos. That was last fall when they announced this. 28 billion new photos and videos every week. So you can imagine this costs Google a little bit. They have a lot of storage, but they gotta buy it. They gotta pay for the electricity. So maybe if you've got a lot of photos on there, I have for years recommended people use Google Photos as a backup. There are other choices out there that give you free backup. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, Amazon offers free unlimited original storage for Amazon Prime users. Another benefit to paying $100 or $130 a year for Prime. There are companies like Shutterfly. Remember them? They do photo printing because they want you to print your photos. Shutterfly offers free storage there too. You don't have to print your photos there, but it's chances are good once you've got your photos up there, you might. Or send it to Aunt Matilda and say, hey, you want a coffee cup of your nieces? Print your own. Here's the address. So there are other places, Shutterfly, Amazon. I think there are a few other places you can store for free. And many of us have cloud storage. Windows users might have some OneDrive storage. If you pay for Microsoft Office, you get a terabyte of storage. So many people have other places that they can store stuff too. It's the problem. The thing that was nice about Google Photos, it was just a no-brainer. It was just a no-brainer. According to user 2722 in our chat room, Google's also on the 15th, maybe this is where I got the date, the 15th, going to start, movies that are currently on the Google Photos will be pushed to YouTube. Whoa. Yikes. Google's been a little disappointing of late, I must say. Somebody should come along and do a better Google than Google. Tom in Keene, New Hampshire. Hi, Tom. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks for hanging on.
Hey, Leo. How's it going today?
It's going good. How are things in Keene?
Rainy and cold and yuck.
Oh, no.
My AC put in last week, and I haven't used it like twice now.
Summer will be here in a month or two. Don't worry.
I know. I just set it up with the home kit and got it all set up and figured out how to automate it, and now I haven't been able to use it.
So is this your first Apple TV?
No, this is my third, actually.
All right. You just got the new one, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
The remote. The new remote, for me, is perfect because...
Well, the old remote was awful.
Well, it was okay. I didn't mind it so much. But dexterity-wise, this one is a dream.
Oh, good.
I was always trying to go up and down, and I would go left and right. They go left and right. They go up and down. I get over and find stuff.
The old Apple remote was impossible. It was hard to tell if it was upside down or right side up. It was very easy to accidentally do things because it just had this touchpad at the top. They've really, I think...
Press it. You pick it up and you press something.
Yeah, easy. Right, and then stop the movie or rewind it or something. So it really, they needed to do this, and they've done a good job. Although, you can buy the new remote for your old Apple TVs for $60, so you're not stuck with that old remote anymore.
Yeah. I gave my other TV to a friend who helps me out a lot. So, look, if you like my new one, I'll buy you the new remote so you can use it.
Aw, you're a good friend. That's a good buddy.
Yeah, I wanted the new TV. I wanted to see because it had all the new.
Yeah, so what's new? Because the Apple TV, I get the sense it's not a huge difference, is it?
No, not really. The speed maybe a little bit. There's one app I use, Renee Ritchie's app. Videos, all his videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And that seems to load a lot faster on this new one than...
Interesting.
And I think it loads a lot faster because on the other one, it takes about 45 seconds to a minute to load. This one's about half the time, if that. It's incredible.
Renee Ritchie is one of our hosts on MacBreak Weekly, but he also has a very active YouTube channel. He's
oh my God,
done a lot of Apple stuff. He's really good on the Apple stuff. So that's nice.
Two people I listen to a lot, yeah.
Nice. I love Renee, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was talking on MacBreak there about the new Apple Music upgrade.
Yes.
We don't know much about it, but do you think that they will say in front of the song, this is, now upgraded?
It'll be indicated. Yeah. So Amazon, I'm gonna say they're gonna take a page from Amazon's playbook. Amazon added this HD music service, and they have a little, they have a little logo, or it'll say HD in the album title. The Apple will absolutely be just as they do with HDR TV movies on your TV or and so forth. There'll be an indicator, so you'll know. They say they're going to be able to get everything, all 75 million songs, high res over the next few months. But initially, there'll only be maybe a tenth of that. So, you'll want to know, am I hearing high def? Although, if you can't tell the difference, maybe it doesn't really matter. I think if you have good speakers or good headphones and you're really paying attention, you might be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, I have my TV hooked up to the soundbar, Dolby Atmos soundbar.
Yeah. And so the Apple TV now support all the old ones too. The Apple TV will support this new high-res music, which I think is a good thing. The most important thing is really the CD quality instead of the compressed AAC. I don't think it's going to sound different to a lot of people, but if you have a good ears, good young ears, and a good receiver, maybe good speakers, good headphones, you might be able to tell the difference. And yeah, they'll indicate it. They'll absolutely indicate it because they want you to know you're getting the benefit of this new Apple high res. There's two things actually Apple's adding to their Apple Music this month. We don't know exactly when. One is the lossless and high res, so you're going to be able to get better quality recordings if you can tell the difference. The other, though, is spatial audio, and that's actually kind of interesting. You're familiar probably with the idea of surround sound from your home theater. Your soundbar probably does that. And it's not just left, right. You might, if you have Atmos, you might hear sounds above you. You might hear sounds behind you with the surrounds. Well, now more and more music is going to be mixed that way because Apple's going to offer that to listeners. But you'll obviously have to have a way of listening, and it will not be with one of the Apple AirPods Pro, or even the AirPod Pro Max, the headphones. None of those can do the high-res sound, but they will all be able to do spatial. So it's like you get a choice. If you have Apple gear, you'll be able to hear the spatial surround sound in the music if the music's been mixed that way. And if you don't have Apple gear, you'll be able to hear the quality improvement. I know. Oh, Apple. Oh, Apple. Leo Laporte, the tech guy in the summertime. Summertime tech guy. Let's go back to the phones. Kevin on the line from Ontario, California. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, let me tell you a quick story. So yesterday I go to Costco and I buy an Apple Watch. I finally broke down and bought another Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And no sooner did I get my car and turn it on, you say, don't buy any Apple products this week.
Oh, you're safe on the Apple Watch. You're safe on the Apple Watch.
Okay.
I should have been more clear. Apple will not announce an Apple Watch in June. They'll always do that in the fall, September, October, November.
Oh man, I'll return it then.
No, you got till the fall. You're good. And actually, the latest Series 6 Apple Watch is really good. I think it's very.
So should I have? I bought the SE. Should I have bought the Series 6?
No. SE is actually a lot cheaper and just as good. I'm an Apple Watch fan. I was not when they came out. I thought this is silly. It doesn't even tell time very well. But now it's always on. It's a good watch. I've kind of gotten used to the looks. I think it's actually a good-looking watch. And I love the health features. I love them a lot.
Yeah, that's basically what I bought it for.
Yeah.
My wife has one. She swears by hers. And I had a Series 2 that wouldn't hold a charge. So
it was time. And you know what? You saved a lot of money getting the SE. I think that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. Okay, So here's my two questions.
Yes.
I travel a lot. And I mean a lot. And I'd like to buy a...
You still travel a lot?
Well, I'm just going back. We're just starting back up. I work on cruise lines.
Oh.
So we're just now getting back to...
What do you do on a cruise line, Kevin?
I'm one of the entertainers. I'm the comedian on board.
Oh, I love it. Which cruise line are you on?
I work for Princess and I work for Celebrity.
Oh, you're probably famous. I bet you a lot of people listening go, "Oh, it's Kevin."
Oh, well, listen, my comedy special just came out last year.
What?
Anyone's interested?
What? Yeah, where is that?
You can Google it at comedian Kevin Jordan on YouTube, but it's also on drybar.com.
Kevin Jordan. And is that the name you use on the cruise line?
Yes. It's crystal clean. I tried to use Kevin Hart, but nobody was believing it.
It's clean, and that has to be because, crystal, and they're not going to, you can't work blue on a cruise ship. But it's fun.
We do every night, on Celebrity, you do a late night. One night is late night, and it's an adult show.
Oh, I've been to those. Yeah, those are fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and my even my late show night show isn't
you can't be too
dirty, but it's adult.
You could use adult words and things like that.
There you go. Right.
How fun! So you do travel a lot. You've seen the world.
A lot. Yes, I have. I've been to places people don't even know exist.
Do you enjoy it? Is it good? Is it? It must be. You still doing it.
Yeah. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy performing. I'm looking forward to getting back into a live audiences. So like I said, it's just starting up and things are starting to stuff. You know what bothered me? This whole pandemic and all they talked about everybody being unemployed except entertainers. Nobody really went into what entertainers are going through during this period.
Oh, any live performer, it's been murder. If you're a musician, a comedian, a magician, I mean, it's murder. Cirque du Soleil went bankrupt during this. Because there's no shows.
Right.
Well, and I can tell you as an audience member, I deeply miss live performance. I love it. And I miss cruising. I can't wait. We're going back in January for our first cruise in a year and a half.
Where are you going?
We're going to Asia. We're going to start in Hong Kong, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore. We're ending in Singapore. I can't wait.
Is that on Princess?
It's a Silver Sea.
Oh, Silver Seas. Oh, smaller ships.
Yeah, I like smaller ships, but you know what? Smaller ships don't have the good comics.
Well, they don't want to.
There's not enough people aboard to hire Kevin Jordan, so they have to hire.
They don't want to pay They don't want to pay both dollars.
Well, how can I help you with your travel?
Well, you know what? I get so envious watching people watch their movies on really good tablets. And I want to know the best tablet for, because all I'm going to do is watch movies on planes. That's all I want it for.
iPad for sure is the best out there. And and they have iPads started at $329. But if you really want the best look, you don't have to get this year's 12.9 inch, but the 12.9 inch iPad Pro, this year's has the best screen, but it's very pricey. But again, you don't need to get the top of the line. You just need to get the screen. So the 12.9-inch iPad Pro for 2021 has what's called a mini LED screen. It's a better screen than most TVs.
Oh, okay.
If you want the best, and then get the Apple surround sound headphones, you'll get, those are a little pricey, but you'll get surround sound on the airplane. Ladies and gentlemen, the world's funniest police officer, Kevin Jordan. Let's hear it for him. Yay! Thanks, Kevin.
Somebody's doing their homework.
That's awesome. So now, do as a comedian, do you get your own cabin or you share? You share, don't you?
No. You get your own cabin.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And usually I'm only on the ship a week or two at the most. So
that's not bad.
Stay on like the rest of the crew.
No, I understand. Yeah, you get to. Yeah, I've seen that. They come and go. Entertainers can come and go. So you'll get off in a port. And
the most of the cruise lines, they treat the entertainers very well.
Good. I know it's a little hard depending on the line. It's a little hard on the other staff.
Yeah.
Should I feel guilty taking cruises?
No, you shouldn't. You should enjoy you should enjoy the cruises. And you know what? Listen, the cruise lines treat their crew very well, and they try to provide a lot of things for the crew to do during their downtime.
I figure Silver Sea, because it's a small boat, it's a 600-passenger boat. They probably treat their crew a little bit better, I'm hoping, than the really big ones. We were on the Anthem of the Seas.
Ooh, yeah,
that is a big-ass ship.
Yeah, I think one of my children is still wandering around that shit off.
They've got a rock climbing wall. They got bumper cars, 5,500 passengers.
I really think they go in an office, they get high, and they think of what else they can put on a ship.
It's crazy.
You know?
It's crazy.
Ice skating and
yeah, they got skating rinks. But the problem is, with that many passengers, there's a line to get on anything.
Right. Yeah. You have to make some things have to make an appointment to get in.
You do. Yeah. So I like the small ships because you can go to more interesting ports, and I don't need a rock climbing wall. I just need somewhere to sit and somewhere to eat, and I'm good. But they don't have. But I have to say, I don't go to the shows much on the smaller boats. We're going to do a cruise with Holland America next year for our fans. We'll have an announcement in a couple of weeks about that. But to Alaska. But I like Holland America.
Holland America is one of my favorites. Their food is good.
Yep. Me too.
The shows are good. It's like you said, it's a little older crowd.
Yep.
But I really enjoy it.
Well, that's the only problem with the cruise ships but see, I'm old, Kevin, so I fit right in. Crystal's supposed to be great.
Crystal's high end.
Yeah.
They're top of the line.
What's your favorite ship?
Very well. My favorite ship? The Celebrity Edge. The new.
Oh, I follow the captain on TikTok. She's great.
Yeah, I met her a couple of times. She's very, very nice woman too. Very nice.
No Chris Marquardt, Laura, by the way.
Captain.
Yeah, she's great. She's a female captain, and she seems like she's just a hoot.
Well, and with a female captain, you never get lost. You don't have to worry about directions.
Because she doesn't mind pulling over and asking.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, she's a very nice woman. She's very personable, very nice person. I've met her a couple of times.
Captain Kate, yeah, on the Edge, and I've seen the Edge. That's the one that has the bar on the edge, like the thing that goes up and down on the edge of it, which is hysterical.
On the outside, right?
On the outside, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's good to know. I'm making a note of that. And which ship are you going to be on next?
I have nothing planned. I'm not sure if I want to go back.
You might want to wait.
Start next year. Yeah, I'm going to start next year.
That's what we decided. January 2022, even that might be a little premature, but we're going to take a chance on January. Yeah. We had trips planned and canceled, a bunch of them. In fact, we were going to do a 3 weeks in Asia, the longer version of this cruise last year, or this year, I guess, in January, but we had to cancel it. Kevin, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, wait, I got one more question.
Yes.
Say it quickly. The best TV for outdoors.
They make outdoor TVs. I wouldn't get them. What I would do is just get a case or a shelter for it. There are outdoor TVs, but
the one I had an old Vizio up, and it was perfect, but I gave it away like an idiot. I put a different one up, and I get too much glare on the screen.
Right. That I don't know about. I think maybe there are treatments you could put on the screen. I'm not sure. I got to run, Kevin. Nice to talk to you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Back to the phones we go. I don't know if we can beat. We had a cruise ship comedian, Jack in L.A. Leo Laporte here. Welcome. Hey, Jack. Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the show. You're on, my friend. You're on.
Thank you. You were talking about Google Photos and that they can be downloaded into this weird format.
Yes.
And I had done that. I think it was JSON format, and I don't know what to do with it once I get it to that.
Yeah, the JSON is actually not the photo. The JSON file, yeah, okay. So you use Takeout, Google Takeout, and you download this blob, the zip file, which you unzip, and then you'll find a bunch of JSON files. That's just a text file that describes the metadata. So if you've modified that photo in any way, and you don't need that. You can ignore that. Look around in that blob, though. There will be JPEGs in there. So,
okay, I looked.
You didn't see anything but JSONs? There should be JPEGs as well.
Okay, I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, you can't do anything with the JSON files. What I ended up doing, this is a complicated process, and what I ended up doing is writing a little script that goes in and uses a tool called EXIF tool. I'll tell you what, I'll put a link in the show notes to an article that describes the process. This EXIF tool renamed, because Google has renamed all your photos as well. Thank you very much. And so what I wanted to do is rename them by date. So I use this tool, EXIF tool, which is free, to look up the date of the photo, to fix it, to fix the download date as well, you know, the EXIF. So it's actually really nice. I will give you a link in the show notes at techguylabs.com to an article that explains what to do. So there is a JPEG in there somewhere. There's a pony in here somewhere. There's a JPEG in there somewhere in addition to the JSON. The JSON is just a description of what's in it.
So I have a list of all the dates, you know, when I drill down and I have files with every date, and I open the date and there's 2 JSONs and that's it.
There's no JPG or JPEG?
There's a image JPEG.json, and under that is metadata.json.
Oh, okay. So maybe they added so just try this. Take off the .json on that image one. And see, if you can open it, if that's an image. Maybe they've renamed. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe they've renamed that. That would be annoying. Thank you, Google.
Yeah, and then so for 3,000 photos, I've got to go.
Yeah, so that's why I wrote a script.
I'll wait for your script.
Yeah, because I kind of I wasn't going to do this manually. So is there a .jpeg.json in there? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Well, I guess that's the JPEG. Why would they add that .json on there?
Yeah, every one has. I'm opening a bunch of them. I haven't done it since September. Are
you on Windows or Mac?
Since Windows.
Okay. So you're going to need a mass file renaming tool for Windows. There are a number of these. I'll give you a couple of names. But the idea is that you're going to... You can actually also do it by hand, but the ideal is not by hand, but like do it a batch by.
Okay.
Yeah, the ideal is that you just issue a command that says, take everything that's named whatever .jpeg.json and take off the .json. And there are ways to do that. You can do it in File Explorer with if you select them all. You can do that, and then there are mass renaming programs. I will get a list of different mass renaming programs. That's probably the best way to do it, rather than try to do it with Windows Explorer. There's one called Bulk Rename Utility at bulkrenameutility.co.uk. I think it's free. There might be a fee if you want to. Yeah, it's free for individual use. So that'll make it the easiest way to do it. You just could pick all of those JSON files and say, you don't even have to pick them. Just say, if you see it, rename it.
Do it, yeah. Quick other question related. I did a search on your database for convert JSON.
Yes.
There was nothing shows up.
Yeah, so
okay. I didn't know if you talked about it.
I have talked about it, and I appreciate you doing that, but of course it's always okay to call in anyway. I don't mind answering the same question. I probably should write an article because it's not the kind of thing you can quickly explain. And so I should write an article at some point that will explain how I did it, because it is complicated. Google does have, and we'll put this in the show notes as well, and it may also be that the search just didn't find it, because we have talked about this before. Why downloaded Google Photos are coming with a .jpeg.json extension.
Oh.
And there's an article on this. So
will all that be in the...
All you need to do is extract all the zip files together. Yes, we'll put this also in the show notes, because it's a long article. But this is on Google Photos Help, so they do talk about this a little bit. There are lots of ways to skin this cat.
Yeah. Is that politically correct?
No, probably not. Certainly, cat lovers are going to be very mad at me. Thank you for calling that out. Now I'm going to get a lot of email.
Thank you. All right.
What's another way to say that? As soon as I said it, Jack, I went, oh. I'm an old guy. I have old sayings. They come from the old days, back before we were politically correct. Thanks, Jack. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. I've said that before. We're not going to skin any cats, I promise. No cats were skinned. Peel that tomato. Thank you. Mike B in the chat room says, just say peel that tomato, and until the vegetable rights advocates come along, I'll be all right. Carolyn on the line from Sedona, Arizona. Hello, Carolyn.
Uncle Leo, I finally have a reason to call you.
Wonderful. Thank you for listening, and I'm glad you called.
Long time, first time.
Nice.
I live in a senior housing development, and I'm 74, but I love technology. I'm an Apple fan.
Nice.
And I help people to figure out how to get internet and do their thing, which is really frightening, actually. But
you're the expert.
I have a lady I'm helping to. Oh God, it's really. Here's a public service announcement to everybody: never use the same password on everything.
Oh, I know. This is such a problem.
Use, the same password.
Do you tell them about password managers, or is that too that's probably too complicated?
That's way too complicated. Yeah. I just suggest they keep a notebook and any changes they make. And
I was at a Target the other day, and they have in the notebook section. So you have a notebook, nice long one that says passwords on it. That's good. Put that right there on your desk, so it makes it easier.
Yeah.
No, I think for older people, that's a very good solution. Yeah, I did that with my mom. I tried to get her set up with LastPass, and it just ended up being easier.
Well, here's the problem we're having. One of my neighbors got a new iPad. Her daughter bought her a brand new, expensive iPad. And we got it set up. She's got an ID, the whole works. And she was to enter a credit card just because she said she just wants to get her free apps, that Netflix.
Oh, this is I know exactly what you're talking about. Hang on for a second because we have to take a break,
okay.
but we'll talk about it at the end of the break. Yeah, because this drives me nuts. Yeah, Apple requires you to enter a credit card number even if you aren't downloading paid apps.
Yeah.
And in fact, partly because a lot of those apps have an in-app purchase. I think that's the reason they do it. And even if she's never going to do the in-app purchase, they just require that. And she doesn't want to put in a credit card number?
No. I mean, and rightly so. She's been warned never to do that kind of thing, and
you could trust Apple, of course.
She refused. Oh well, I tried to tell her that, but she doesn't. She's not comfortable with it. I wondered. I suggested that she go to her bank and tell them what she wants, like a prepaid debit card. But she needs the 3, and the requirements are the 3 digits on the back of the card and so forth.
Yeah.
But if she got a $50 card, then, she would be fine with that.
That would work. You don't even have to go to a bank to do that. You could go to Target or somewhere, and they sell, prepaid visas that you could use, I think. I don't know if you could use those, though.
I have, before I called you, I did a lot of searching on Google and YouTube, and according to what I've researched, no, they won't take that. It has to be like a bona fide.
They're smart enough to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
So Okay. Well,
so you can set up. Tell me, you can set up the iPad and say, "I'm not going to give you a payment method." It only becomes an issue when she wants to download an app. Is that right?
No. Nowadays, there used to be a none option.
Yeah.
Under the payment.
That's not there anymore?
It isn't not there anymore. It's gone. And I've gone on YouTube. I've watched videos. I mean, people have tried all kinds of back doors to this, and none of them work.
So this she might like. This is an app. But maybe she could also do it on the web, I think. No, I guess she needs the app. There's a company, they used to be a sponsor called MySudo, MySudo.com. And it's actually very clever. It's for privacy. It generates a a real phone number, a real email address, and real credit cards, but they're fake in the sense that they're not tied to you. They're tied to your MySudo account. And she could that's a real credit card, so she could almost certainly use it and just never use it. So whenever she has to I use it when I sign, I made a mistake once of returning a prepaid mailer, saying I'm interested in something, and I still hear from them years later. So from now on, whenever I do that, I use a phony phone number. It's a real number. I'll get messages. Same thing with the email. I get messages, but it doesn't bother, it doesn't ring my real phone. MySudo.com. And they also have a credit card that you can generate.
I don't think
she's not going to even go for that, huh?
I doubt it. I doubt it very much. I think the only solution is to call Wells Fargo and see if they'll issue some kind of card with all of the information that Apple needs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a real issue. This is going to be a real issue for a lot of people.
It's very annoying. It's what Apple does, and it's frustrating. I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we'll give it a try. Thank you.
Yep. Take care. I would sure like to get some help from Apple on this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Apple, and this is unfortunate. There's got to be a way around this. Requires that you provide a real credit card. And by the way, you can't use a gift card. A real credit card number for payments, even if you never want to buy anything. But if you want to download apps, even free apps, and I've noticed this a lot of times when I'm downloading a free app, Apple says, "Okay, use Face ID to prove it's you," like they care. Look, I'm already logged onto the phone. They really want you to tie a payment system in. And, of course, I think, and I know it's safe to give that credit card number to Apple. You can use a credit card you're never going to use. They're never going to use it. Apple's very careful. I think it's very safe to do that. But people have been told for years, never give out a credit card number on the internet. That's not strictly true anymore. Heck, you go to a restaurant, you give them a credit card, the waiter comes and says, "Here's your bill." You give it to them, they go off, disappear for a few minutes. There's nothing to stop them from charging a pair of sneakers while they're gone. You trust them, you can trust Apple. In fact, most online merchants are safe. You can trust them. I did mention there are a couple of ways to do credit cards that are that I'm sure Apple would take, but are a little bit more secure. We have a sponsor, privacy.com, that lets you generate. This might actually work for her. You can generate cards. It's a free service. You generate cards that can either only be used once or only be used with a specific merchant. Now, she's not going to like this because you do have to give to set this up. You have to give them your bank account, either a debit card or your bank account information, because obviously if you use the card, they have to have a way to pass that charge along to you. But I use privacy all the time, anytime I'm using a credit card online, because if there are issues, I can easily stop the card and so forth. And it's tied to the merchant. So even if somebody stole the card from Apple, no one else could use it because only Apple could use it. But see, then she'd have to give privacy there from her information. It's really safest to give Apple your information. Apple does not accept these prepaid Visa cards. You can't use that. I mentioned another service that I've used called MySudo, MySudo.com, that lets you generate kind of one-time use phone numbers and emails for these kinds of things. They also have credit cards there, but you'd have to give them 99 cents a month, so you have to give them a credit card. This is an interesting issue, and I blame Apple, to be honest. Can you buy an iTunes card? I don't think so. I don't think you can use a prepaid, but maybe that's worth a try. Maybe you can use an iTunes card. You can go to any drugstore and buy a $10 iTunes card. See, is that going to work? I don't think so, because it's not a credit card. And if they won't take the prepaid Visa cards, they're certainly not going to take those. Knox Harrington in our chat room says, why are you blaming Apple? It's not their... Well, it is Apple's policy, isn't it? Especially, I mean, if you don't give... It seems to me that you should be able to set up a phone without a payment method and just not be allowed to buy anything. Fine. But you can't even download free apps if you don't give them a payment method. That's a problem. Oh, our Sedona caller is in the chat room. She says she tried. You can't use an iTunes card. You can create an Apple ID with no payment method, but you can't download apps, apparently. That seems wrong. Those apps are free. Seems wrong. Doug is on the line from Magnolia, Texas. Hello, Doug.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
It's Sunday and I can't seem to get anything done.
That's why I love Sunday.
Yeah.
Take a day off.
Yeah. I'm lucky I got through to you, and thanks for taking the call.
I'm so glad you called. Thank you.
We talked back, I think it was Super Bowl Sunday, and it was about my Dell computer desktop with the shaky, jittery mouse.
Oh, yeah.
And you gave me a number of ideas and stuff, and I tried them all. None of them worked.
None of them worked.
I contacted Dell. I have the extended support on this computer.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
So I spent probably 2 hours on the phone with Dell. They couldn't figure out a fix. So the only fix that we found was to roll it back, remove the HO2.
So it was specifically tied to an update.
Right.
Interesting.
The Microsoft, HO2, I think it is.
Yeah.
And the most current update.
So you removed the entire 21H1 or the 20H2. Oh, yeah, 20H2 those are those twice yearly Windows updates. Those are the big updates, and that was what was causing it. Wow.
That was what was causing it, and I how you.
So you roll back 20H2, but eventually you're going to have to do it.
Well, that's where I am today. They slammed me about 2-3 weeks ago. I tried calling you, I couldn't get through, but and they updated it, and the problem came back.
Ay. Well, at least we know what's causing it. I'm not sure why, but at least we know what's causing it.
Yes.
Now there is imminently. It's starting to push out. I think now 21H1. So we're in 2021, the first half of 2021. So that's 21H1. And that will incorporate all the updates, including 20H2. Maybe there's a chance they might have fixed it.
Well, that's what I was calling you about, because now they're forcing me, and I was wondering if there's some way to stop them.
Yeah, there is a way to stop them. You can go into the internet connection and say, I have a metered connection. By which you're telling them, hey, I pay for every bit I download, so never force me to download nothing. And that will at least defer it. There's also a deferral option, but you've already probably used up all of the deferral time. The deal that Microsoft made with all of us when they gave us a free Windows 10 is that, well, you're all right. You can have Windows 10 for free if you're upgrading, but you're going to have to update whenever there's an update available, which kind of ignores the fact that some of the updates are bad. They break people's computers, and it's weird that it's breaking your system. I bet you, I'm not yet defeated. I bet you we could figure out what's going on. There must be something in 20H2 that, has a mouse driver or something that your mouse doesn't like. But instead of spending hours on doing that, which you've obviously done with Dell already, you could turn on a metered connection. You can continue to defer if that's available to you. But I would say when 21H1 is offered to you, that you should try it. Roll back 20H2. Don't use it because you get the jittery mouse. They won't force you to yet. You're allowed to continue to run Windows right up to, I think, I can't remember which is the last one that they're supporting, but several, like 2 years ago. So you can defer it. And then, but I would suggest when 21H1 comes out, you say, well, let's give it a try. Now, if you get the jittery mouse, you can roll it back.
Yeah.
I believe 21H1 is being pushed out bit by bit.
Yeah, I'll look for that. Maybe be an early adopter.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you check. Yeah. So
I was hoping maybe for a registry hack or something that you might know of.
You don't need. Well, no, there isn't any illegitimate way I know of to defer these, but turning, this is the one thing I know, which is telling your internet, it's just a checkbox. I have a metered internet connection. Will stop the updates. You'll have to manually update.
Okay.
But do remember that ultimately you want those updates, so we want to fix that.
Yes, but not
until they fix it. So there's something weird going on.
Yeah, and it's crazy because if you recall, it's a Microsoft mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I'm baffled. And you've looked around and you don't see other people complaining about it, because that's your best bet. If 100 people say there's something wrong with 20H2, maybe they'll fix it in 21H1. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Still, there's still a lot of conversation about this prepaid Apple thing. And I don't also know what we do about that. No, you can't use a prepaid debit card. We found that out, right? Oh, clear out the cache for the updates so that it doesn't continue to try to download it. Yeah, that's a good tip. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We got your smartphones. We got your smart watches. We got all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Actually, Leo. Well, it's the same, right? 88. It's 888-827-5536. Yeah, I don't know how you spell Leo, but you spell Leo, L-E-O. 8888 Ask L-E-O. 888-827-5536. I feel punchy. I'm a little punchy, aren't I? I don't know why. Maybe it's your fault, Professor Laura. You're making me punchy. The website is techguylabs.com. Everything's there. If you hear it on the show, I'll put a link there. And as you heard in the last call, sometimes the calls are complicated, and then I'll just post links there because I don't want to go hours reading you recipes for fixing your computer. So we just put them up on the webpage. That's free. There's no sign up. techguylabs.com. Let's go back to the phones to Atlanta, Georgia once again. Jim's on the line. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Leo. How are you today?
I am well. My birth name is Leo, L-E, with an accent over the E-O, because that was my dad's name, my grandfather's name, and all that. But I just used Leo because that's how it's spelled. We don't have accent aigu in the English language.
It's much less pretentious.
Yes, it does sound a little pretentious. Hello, I'm Leo, your tech guy. What can I do for you, Jim?
So, yesterday, you were talking with Johnny Jett about going to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So, a couple of years ago, we were in Hong Kong, and we stayed in Kowloon at the Intercontinental, and it's right on the harbor with floor-to-ceiling windows.
Wow.
So it's incredible. So
Johnny was saying that's the best view in the world, one of the best views in the world.
It's pretty amazing. And get a club room so you have free breakfast and free appetizers and free drinks and all that.
Did you get to spend any time in Hong Kong?
So got there prior to a celebrity cruise. So it was like 4 nights in Hong Kong prior to the cruise.
Did you see Kevin Jordan, the funny policeman?
Unfortunately, Leo, I didn't see.
You missed Kevin. Oh man,
missed him.
Yeah. I'm excited to get back traveling again. It's been a long year of not. I don't know why I like to travel. I think it's just seeing new things is fun and meeting new people and talking in funny languages. I just enjoy it. I don't know why. I just really like it.
It's all about the meeting new people. So we're going on a cruise in October.
Aren't you brave?
And Windstar Cruises.
Oh, that's the one with sails.
It's the one with sails. It's the Wind Spirit out of Papeete, Tahiti.
Oh.
And Leo, they don't call it a cruise. This is a yacht.
It's a sail, man. You're sailing. Except I bet you most of the time you're motoring, but okay.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
You're going to, Dr. Mom loves those. She's been on some Windstars, and she said they were really good. So have a wonderful time.
First time with a Windstar cruise. So
in
this should
Tahiti.
Nice. Yeah, Tahiti, French Polynesia, going over to Bora Bora and Moorea.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
The cool places, yeah.
I'm jealous.
So, yeah.
Kowloon, you're saying, my travel agent said the same thing. She said, oh, no, you have to, she asked me, island or Kowloon? And I said, well, I don't know. What? And then she said, well, Kowloon, of course. And I said, okay, why'd you ask? Okay, Kowloon. Yeah. We'll stay in Kowloon. Exactly. You take the ferry over to the island if you want to visit. I've never been. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really spectacular.
Yeah.
And there's tours that go through Hong Kong and all that, and it's like, man, I'm glad we didn't stay over on this side.
Yeah.
So, because it's super congested.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's that, and there was one night it was like, geez, what do we want to do for dinner? Well, every time we've been to a German restaurant, we've always had a good time. So we went
to a German restaurant in China. Okay.
In Hong Kong.
Okay.
And had, what did we have? Obviously, we had pizza and potato skins.
Perfect all around. Now, that's called a cosmopolitan international traveler. You go to Hong Kong to have potato skins and pizza at a German restaurant. It makes perfect sense to me. I know how those things are.
Fun.
You know what? It's funny because the best Indian restaurants are in London. You never know what you're going to find. That's what's great.
Yeah.
That's what's great about travel. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you for the tip. We'll do that. Intercon. Got it.
There you go. Intercontinental, Kowloon. And I had a question about my printer, but
don't ruin this perfect call with actual questions.
I'm gonna get a new printer. So, thanks for your advice.
Thanks,
Leo.
Jim. I appreciate it. Great to talk to you. Have a good day. Let's go to the Motor City. Thomas on the line from Detroit. Hello, Thomas.
Hey, what's happening? Thanks so much for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. What can I do for you?
I've been never been an iPad user, but I am a Mac person with the phone, the desktop computer, and the MacBook Pro for years. And I feel just like it's time for me to get an iPad. So I always
boy, that Apple advertising's really working. Somehow I got this feeling it's time to buy an iPad. I love the iPad. I'm just joshing. I'm just teasing you. iPad's a good choice.
I always feel like I need the latest and greatest technology and then just hang on to it as long as I can. I don't know if that's a good strategy, but that's what I tend to do. So I narrowed it down. I went to the Apple store. The big one, the 12.9-inch Pro, was a little too big. Just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, the 11-inch. There I go. I'm going to get this new iPad Pro. And then I look at the iPad Air. It's so similar. I'm really having a tough time deciding which one of those I should get, how much storage.
Get the Air, especially for your first iPad. So the Pro has a few Pro features. Besides being heavier and thicker, it also, you can use the pencil, although now you can use the pencil with the Air, but the pencil has more levels of pressure sensitivity. The screen has this fancy True Motion thing where it'll do different refresh rates depending on what you're looking at. It's all frippery.
Okay.
I think the Air, especially for first iPad, and by the way, the Air is faster than anything but the most recent Pros. So the Air is actually that was just updated. So I think it's a very good choice. It's the lightest. I think it's the 4th generation. They don't do numbers anymore, which is too bad. But and it's a lot less expensive, I think.
Yeah, and for my configuration, it'd be I'd say $508.
Yeah, get it. It's got the A14 Bionic, which is that's basically, don't tell anybody, the same as the M1.
I heard someone else say that.
Yeah. There's some differences, but not significant. It's the same chip. They have just, different configurations. It does work with the pencil now, which is great. You can get the Magic Keyboard. So really, there are very few. I think the camera maybe is a difference. You don't have LiDAR in the camera. Who cares? I don't care. You don't need that. Get the Air for sure.
We don't care about the Thunderbolt connectivity that's new on this iPad Pro.
No, I don't think you're going to see any real benefit from this. I can't remember if the Air is using Type-C or if they're still Lightning. I think they're using Type-C on the Air now.
C in the Air.
Yeah, so that's fine. It does everything. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Do you like the cellular versions of these iPads, or you just stick to Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi is so...
Wi-Fi's everywhere. It depends how much you are going to be out of Wi-Fi access. You can always use your phone as a hotspot if you just need occasional Wi-Fi, non-Wi-Fi access. But if you spend a lot of time, at cafes or somewhere where you just don't have internet access in the park, then you might want it. I think for most people, that's an unnecessary expense.
Gotcha.
Because you got to pay a monthly fee to a cellular company, whether you use it or not.
Yep. And can you do those? I'm sure it's a question for the phone companies, but can you do those a la carte, like pay for it for 2 months and not pay for it for 2 years, and then add it back on for a month, depending on your travel?
It depends on but again, it depends very much on the cellular company.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's pretty easy. Apple makes it very easy to turn it off and on. So in most cases, you just turn it off and then turn it on when you need it.
Yeah, okay.
So really, what you're paying for is the capability. That doesn't mean you have to turn it on immediately, for sure. And you can, some companies let you pause it. Sometimes you just have to disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Very good. I was thinking the only other question is the gigabytes. 250 gigs is the most you can get on the iPad Air?
256? Maybe, yeah. I mean, that is one advantage. The Pros have more storage. That's a lot of storage.
Is it, if you're shooting, because all these cameras now, they shoot 4K video.
Yeah, but you'd have to work hard to fill it up. And you transfer it off when you're,
okay.
I think 256 is more than you'd ever need.
Lovely. Very good. Boy, I really appreciate it.
I saved you some money. People say I just spend people's money. No, I saved you some money. Yeah.
Hey, how many years you been doing this show now?
Since January 2004, 17 years.
I've lived in Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit. Now, everywhere I go, I've caught you on some kind of...
I'm so glad.
Somewhere. So
thanks to our affiliates. I'm really glad. And of course, nowadays with the internet, you can listen anytime, anywhere because, the internet.
That's what I'm doing today.
All right. Hey, Thomas, thank you for calling. And thanks for listening all those years.
Thank you. You got it. Thanks.
Take care. Yeah, honestly, I like the iPad because it's simple. And for a lot of people, it's all the computer they need. but don't feel like you have to overspend. I think the base model iPad, $329 is good for almost everybody. I like the Air. If you want a little more power, a little more speed, a little more oomph, the Air. The Pro is probably not necessary unless you're just one of those people like I am, maybe, that wants the stripes on the car and the tinted windows, and the undercoating. Got to have the undercoating. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, hour number 3 of the Tech Guy Show for this Memorial Day weekend. I hope you have a meaningful Memorial Day. Head out to the military cemetery, lay a wreath or something, do something to remember those who have given their all for our country. Larry in San Diego has a great question. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call, and I've been listening for a long time, too.
Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful.
So I'm trying to decide. I'm also a pilot, and I bought, X-Plane.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah, if I try to run it on my laptop, which is many years old, it takes like 20 minutes for it to boot up.
Does it run once it boots up? Does it actually run?
It does run, but for some reason, if I change anything, then I have to stick, and I've only had it for a week. I stick the first disk back in. That's the only way I can get it to run. I don't have the icon on my desktop for some reason.
Oh. So X-Plane is actually really cool. A lot of attention these days to the return of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, the king of the hill. But X-Plane was created to run on machines that Microsoft's Flight Simulator wouldn't run. And I don't know, I'm not a pilot, but you are. Does X-Plane, is it pretty good? Is it pretty accurate? Do you feel like you're actually in that Cessna 172 SP or the Beechcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well,
or the Boeing 747-400? What do you fly professionally?
I'm a flight instructor. I'm retired.
Oh, neat.
So I just do a little instructing. So what I've read, the Microsoft is better if you want the scenery.
Right.
But I don't care about the
You
scenery.
care about the simulation. Yeah. Do you, when you teach, you teach in a plane, you don't teach in a simulator?
Correct. I only teach in a plane.
There's a long history, of course, though, of airplane simulators being used to train pilots in the military and in commercial flight. And I think that's where these two programs really come from, is this long heritage of simulator. So as you might imagine, the load time is big because it's loading in a lot of textures, a lot of information. That's what's so slow. It's possible you could speed it up by getting a solid state drive in that computer. Is it a laptop? You said it's a laptop, right?
Well, my laptop's newer than my PC, and that was where this question was going to go. I think I'm ready to buy a new computer.
Well, get a gaming PC, and you'll be amazed at the difference.
Well, I was wondering, and I don't know much about computers, so could I, and I called it a mainframe, could I put a computer in my closet and then put little workstations, because I've got an office, and then I need one downstairs for the family? Would that be cost effective, or is it
No, nowadays it's a one PC per desktop. You could, you could, I shouldn't say that. You could, generally, you don't want to have two people using a computer at the same time. Modern operating systems could handle it, but they're not multi-user systems. They're designed to be used by a single user. So you could put a tower in the closet, which has a couple of advantages. It's quieter. You can keep the closet cooled. It doesn't, you don't hear it. You'd have to have a very long cable for your monitor. That's going to be a problem. Those cables don't do well, but there are ways to get around it with things like a Balun, a BALUN, which is basically turns a monitor cable into a Ethernet cable, which can go longer. You'd have to very, very long USB cable for your keyboard and your mouse, and then you could have one going downstairs. It's totally doable. In fact, I'm controlling right here in the studio. I control our video switcher, which is way down the hall via a similar setup, and it uses a KVM machine, or keyboard video mouse switcher, to switch. So if they touch the control surface in the studio, the big studio down the hall, it'll take it over from me, and vice versa. We could take it from one another. We don't share it at the same time. But so we're doing effectively that. In fact, the server that we're controlling is in another room, in a server room, in an air-conditioned server room down the hall the other way. So we are doing what you just described. In general, though, if you wanted the family to use it at the same time as you, that's probably better to buy a separate computer for them, or just give them the laptop.
Give them the old laptop.
Yeah, give them the old laptop. That'd be the better way to do it. And computers are so inexpensive these days. Get yourself a nice gaming system, for sure. With a graphics card, and SSD is going to make a huge difference in load times. A solid state drive, fast processor. There are a lot of companies that make gaming systems, including Dell's Alienware, and I think you'd be very happy. Rod Pyle, Space Explorer.
Hello, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to head down to San Diego this week and pick up my Shure microphone and my Focusrite mixer. So
how exciting.
Dumb Yeti anymore.
Thank you.
That'll be better.
We'll reimburse you on that, by the way. You don't have to buy that. We'll take care of that.
No, I already have it. But I do have a question, a tech question.
Yes.
Because why should I let you relax during the break? I should, for the room I'm outfitting as a studio, I should probably run Cat 5 cable up there. I got a repeater, whatever they call it, for my Eero mesh system, but I'm not convinced that really is going to work.
No, you want to hardwire. Yeah, you definitely want to hardwire.
So, for a townhouse, what's the best way to do that? Do they just drill through the wall and drop it in between, or do they have to actually break out plaster?
No. I've done this myself. You own it, right? So you don't have to worry about the landlord?
Yeah.
Okay.
No landlord.
You put a little hole in the wall. Yeah, no, I've done it myself, and they just drop a wire. It's a little tricky. They put a plumb on it or something to get it down straight there.
Okay.
But, you just drop it down. Unless, sometimes there's blockages. So,
Yeah, some piece of particle board.
There could... And by the way, don't do Cat 5. You want to, you definitely at least Cat 6. Probably 6E.
I was just trying to sound like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. Cat 5 is fine, but if you get Cat 6, you get more speed on it. And you can't even do a gigabit on Cat 5. You need at least Cat 6 for a gigabit.
And then I could do video again.
You could do video. Oh, wow. Holy cow.
So I'll look about 8 years older than that picture over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's an old picture. It's okay. I've seen you. People are saying, boy, everybody in the chat room is getting involved. People are saying, ideally it'd be conduit, but there's lots of ways to do this. You're not going to do it yourself, right?
No, heavens no.
They'll know. Handyman will know how. I've had handyman come in and do it. They know how to do it.
And that way I'll be able to use a bigger monitor, and then I can have the chat room up and Discord up and all that. Yeah, because right now I'm on a 13-inch, and that gets a little frustrating.
Yeah. Good.
So today I'm going to completely discredit myself by talking about aliens, because it's a coast-to-coast kind of day.
Yes. Welcome back to Coast to Coast. With us, joining us right now in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So what was it like to sleep with a ghost? I love George, but he's so into it. Oh yeah, about 5 times.
Yeah,
and it's it's great. I kind of set up front. Look, I'm really not into the face on Mars and the cities on the moon stuff. Nazi bases and all that. But if you want to talk science, that's great. So they have control over the first hour, but then the second hour is the call-ins, and you get so strange people. But I got schooled on there once. Some guy was saying he saw this strange shape being transported by truck, and it must be a secret army thing and blah, blah. And I was kind of poo-pooing it. And then a friend of mine from my Griffith Observatory days called me during the break and said, hey, I saw that too. He's an astronomer. He called me during the break and said that was the Dream Chaser test vehicle being transported out to Edwards Air Force
Oh, that's
Base.
So cool.
So I was sort of like, oops. So I had to apologize to the caller afterwards, say, yeah, I guess you did.
You were honest.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Bigfoot. Oh, yeah. We're going to get a call about Bigfoot. Space Force. Oh, that's getting interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, they just took over. They converted L.A. A few people know they have a Los Angeles Air Force Base. It's the only base they have without a runway, but it's been doing space traffic control and all that for years, and they are now Space Force Central.
Wow.
It's right down the street.
It's nice they could be in the city.
Yeah.
Set out somewhere in the middle of the desert.
It's good for the economy, that's for sure. An inside look at your life.
It's time for Rod Pyle, spaceman, author of Space 2.0, Amazing Stories of the Space Age, Interplanetary Robots. He's the editor-in-chief of Ad Astra, the magazine of the National Space Society at space.nss.org. I mean, there is nobody better qualified to talk about little green men than Rod Pyle.
Well, we'll see. And by the way, our magazine, I think I mentioned this last week, but we're in Barnes & Noble and Books A Million now. So
oh, nice.
You can buy them retail. Yeah.
The Ad Astra magazine is great. In fact, I got the special edition for Living in Space. That's great. And there's now one for the Mars rover Perseverance and the helicopter Ingenuity. Lots of pictures. This would be a great gift. You know, my grandma used to always give me magazine subscriptions. She gave me National Geographic. This would be a perfect gift, membership in the National Space Society for a kind of precocious 13-year-old who's interested in science, astronomy, and space. I think it'd get them really going.
Yeah, way better than a 2-year subscription to Boy's Life, which is what I always got
yeah,
for some reason.
Grandma used to give me Boy's Life. Yeah. What? So today we are going to talk about aliens.
Yeah, so I just saw this yesterday. It's kind of fun. There is a single frame up for auction on Rarible.com. A single frame of the Alien Autopsy, supposedly original film negative, shot in 1947 of the pathological, or whatever they call it, examination of the little green man or little gray man's body. And a lot of people saw that documentary that History Channel did back in 1995, Alien Autopsy.
Yeah.
100 million people watched it in 100 countries, supposedly.
Wow.
And the story is that this UK television producer bought that reel of film in a deal where he was buying, what he was actually looking for, interestingly enough, was stock footage on Elvis Presley, which kind of fits when you think about it. And then this guy says, hey, you know, he's probably holding open his trench coat. Hey, you want to buy some footage of an alien autopsy? He said, what? So a year later, they made this big show. So it was incredibly famous and popular and made that story really rise to the top, because we've been talking about Roswell for years, but I don't think the autopsy was a big topic until this film came out, at least not in general public. So it's one frame plus an NFT. So it's kind of weird because we're used to seeing NFTs.
Yeah.
But this actually gives you a physical frame, which is good because the opening bid is $1 million.
Wow.
Or more. And
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot for a single frame of what's probably a hoax film. So supposedly,
nobody has bid on it yet. So so you said hoax film. Do we know where this came from, or?
Well, do we know, quote unquote? Kind of. So a film effects guy in 2006 came out and said, yeah, it was a hoax. I was in on it. And then 2017, a cameraman came out and said, yeah, we shot it in my apartment. It was basically a dummy stuff full of animal viscera, so it looked nice and gooey when you cut it open. But we just don't know. So again, this is one of those things. But, you know, what timing? This comes out in the same 4-week period as we're going to get this report out of the Air Force on the unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UFO report. And, you know, this again dates back to Roswell. So in Roswell, 1947, when we had that incident, the Army had a press release that was out very briefly that said they recovered a flying disc. And then within a day or two, it was retracted. And they said, no, it was a weather balloon. Nothing to see here. Move along. So
that's always a little suspicious when they go, no, never mind.
Yeah, and you and I both remember when Project Blue Book came out, and we were really looking forward to that. And I think it was 68 from the Air Force, and they said, yeah, swamp gas and weather balloons. So in the 70s, a retired lieutenant colonel came out and said, yes, there was a Roswell cover-up. And then in 94, the Air Force said, no, it was a balloon, but it was a special balloon that was surveilling Soviet bomb tests.
I often think that there is a cover-up. They just don't. What they're covering up is our own or other nations' efforts. The classified
efforts. Supposedly this was a thing called Project Mogul that actually used microphones to hear nuclear bomb tests from a great distance.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of microphones. That would be interesting to find out, wouldn't it? But then, since then, you know, there's been these releases of the Tic Tac video and the West Coast UFO sightings from the jets and all that, but they're always kind of crummy resolution, low res, usually FLIR radar data tapes, so you can't really see what's going on. But we've got pilots saying, yeah, this thing dropped 60,000 feet in 5 seconds and all that. Another pilot, they had that 60 Minutes report just a few weeks ago. Pilot came out and said that they have daily sightings in the East Coast. So again, we talked about this a bit. There's a lot of people in the trade sort of saying, well, could these be Chinese test drones observing us? Could they be some kind of Russian surveillance tech? And given what the public sees in these kind of low-res radar tracks, it's hard to tell whether they're really dropping 60,000 feet in 2 seconds or if it's some oblique view we're getting that just makes it look that way, because we're not getting the real data. So the hope is when this report comes out, we'll get the real stuff on it. But there's just no way to know because we don't have the real story.
Why are we so fascinated with this?
Well, I guess, philosophically, if you want to be noble about it, you could say because of mankind's quest for knowledge. But I think, I think people love the idea that there's something beyond. B, I think a lot of people are afraid of the idea that there's something beyond that might not like us and want to tip over cows in Iowa and all that kind of stuff. And C, I think people just, especially in America for some reason, love conspiracies.
We really do, don't we?
I mean, how many times have we rehashed the whole Kennedy assassination and the UFO thing is one of the best conspiracies there is.
Sasquatch. There's just it's endless. I don't know. I'm just by nature a skeptic. I feel like there should be a significant amount of proof before I would believe this. I'm not saying it couldn't be. I'm just saying I'd like to see.
And I wouldn't either.
Some pretty good demonstration of this.
Yeah.
And
there's no good scientist says it's impossible. You just say, well, let's see some proof, so some empirical evidence. And I remember I was doing I think it was for a War of the Worlds special I did for History Channel back in the mid-2000s. And I interviewed a couple of psychologists that specialized in like abduction tales and so forth. And their explanations both matched, which, some people may refute this, but they said, look, waking paralysis is a very scary thing. And if it comes on the tail of a specific kind of dream, you can have this idea that occurs just in a second, but it seems like hours to you that you were abducted and probed and mishandled and, all those
It's easy to explain, in other words, a lot of this phenomenon. Then there's some categories of phenomenon that are kind of inexplicable. We just don't know what the explanation is. But none of that reaches the point where you'd say, oh, wow, that's definitely aliens.
Well, and again, this report might, though. If they actually release better data and some more interviews with some of these pilots and the commanders that were on the command bridge of the ship when the sightings are happening, because most of them are off on the coastlines, that could really change the narrative. And then the question becomes this national security issue with, foreign powers that are probing us with technology that scares the dickens out of us, or is this a global security issue because there are things out there that are looking at us saying, those look pretty good roasted on a spit, which would be a drag.
I don't have high hopes that in my lifetime we'll ever know the answer to this one, but I'll look forward to reading all the speculation and all the articles. And of course, if it really happens that we make first contact, I know that Rod Pyle will be the first to tell me and explain it all. In his position as editor-in-chief of Ad Astra, the National Space Society magazine at space.nss.
See, this is why you're at the top of the radio trade, because you make those segues so skillfully.
I don't know what I'm doing. Rod, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope to talk to you again next week about something a little more concrete than the swamp gas and weather balloons. But
I just wanted to step off the rails for a second. But we'll do the Chinese space station.
Watch that third rail.
That's exciting.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you, Rod. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't know. I actually tempered my cynicism a little bit because I think it's all hooey. But
I did for years too. And when I was working up at Griffith Observatory, we got calls every day. Oh, I saw a strange thing and so forth. And I was telling this story on, I think, WGN a couple nights ago. I contributed to some of those because I used to like to mock up things that look like UFOs and set them adrift over the valley.
Why would you do that?
Because I was young and foolish and had a lot of helium
to mess
in
with
tank.
people. Yeah.
But at the same time, you hear some of these stories are pretty compelling, and they come from police officers and military people. And not that a police officer is necessarily going to understand that Venus can look really weird at the horizon when it's rising. But, there are a few of them that are just really hard to explain.
I'm of the opinion that the distances are so great that it's just they're not transitable. I think there's life in the universe, probably.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to believe there isn't. But that the life would have to be more than microbial, and it'd have to be at our level of civilization. And B, it would have to be able to actually much higher than our level of civilization, because it would have to be able to transit interstellar distances, which are significant. And I suspect that's what keeps other people from visiting us. That's all.
Yeah. So you've got to cross these multi-light year distances in some big metal thing, probably. And then you've got to have something that dips down the atmosphere. And you got to care enough about looking at this, race of advanced pink-skinned monkeys, hairless monkeys that we call ourselves.
It's a long way to come for that.
Yeah. So are we really that unique to deserve that kind of curiosity? But if there is a multiverse and there's some way to transit from one to the other, which is stretching a whole bunch of, physical precepts, I guess. Like we said before, I expect more likely they'd step out of my closet than then they're kind of come in some big metal machine and land in my backyard. They're just going to step out of my closet and say, come with us. We're going to have a party. I'll go, ew.
Well, I mean, God, who knows? What kind of, who knows what these aliens, if there are aliens, they're not going to be like us, or are they? I don't know.
According to Star Trek, they're going to look like us with rubber suits.
With rubber suits, yeah.
Green two legs and opposable thumbs, because that's cheaper.
It's fascinating, but and it's a great speculative thing. But there are many things in life that you can talk about endlessly to no purpose, and this is one of them.
I knew a guy that thought his computer was haunted. So
yeah, I know a lot of those people. They all call me. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Have a good week.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Thank you for letting me be your tech guy again. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, who does such a good job keeping me in line. Thanks to our phone angel, the unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer, for taking your calls. Thanks to you for listening and calling. I couldn't do it without you. I really appreciate it. I feel very fortunate to get to join you every week and help you with your printer problems. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. We have some unsolved mysteries besides the aliens. We have some unsolved mysteries on the show today, and I certainly would love some help if you have a mind to it. You could call. We have a line open, 8888 Ask Leo. You could join us in the chat room at irc.twit.tv. You could, probably the best thing to do, go to the website, techguylabs.com. It's no charge. There's no sign up. You can go in there, and if you've got a solution, you can just post it as a comment. You do have to sign up for the comments because we're trying to slow down spammers. So you could use Google or Twitter or Facebook or whatever you got to just authenticate yourself, and then you can leave a comment. So we got a couple of problems. This is one that bugs me, and I'm going to have to really talk to my Apple experts on this. Why is it that Apple, even when you're downloading a free app, requires a payment method, a real live credit card? And our caller from Sedona, who is a wonderful person, she teaches seniors how to use computers, has a senior who I've heard never to give my credit card numbers out, and I'm not going to do it, which means she cannot download even free apps in the App Store because Apple says you have to have a real credit card. It won't work with a prepaid Visa. She's tried. It won't work with an iTunes credit card. She's tried. There's no way to do it. Used to be you could sign up and not have a payment method, but Apple's eliminated that. And now you do have to have a payment method on file with Apple, even to download free apps. I suspect it's a certain kind of free app, a free app with in-app purchases. It would be very easy for Apple just to say, well, no, you can't do the in-app purchase because you don't have a credit card on file. But for some reason, they won't even let you use the app, even the free part of it. So that is odd to me. Now, Susie Q saying in the chat room, it does work with an American Express gift card. Worth a try. I can't say this ever came up for me, I'd just routinely give Apple a credit card. But if we can solve this for our caller from Sedona, I'd appreciate that. That'd be a good one. That's one of our unsolved mysteries. Chat room's been working on this, and we'll certainly have some answers on the website. But I want to get the definitive one. At least the Amex gift card. That's a new one. That's a good one. I hope that works. And I also would like to know why Apple does that. I mean, obviously, you could say if you're a cynic, well, Apple does it because they want to make more money. They want to make sure you have a credit card so it's easy for you to buy stuff. But what if somebody doesn't want to give you a credit card? I guess Apple could say, look, that's just the rules. You want to use an iPhone? I mean, that's kind of their answer to this trial, Apple versus Epic. Epic's upset. They say, well, Apple takes 30% of every transaction with us, even if they don't add value to that. They take 30%. They shouldn't. And actually, the trial's over. The judge will rule in the next few months. I'm sure it'll be appealed no matter who wins that one, and it'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court. But, on the one hand, Apple gets to choose the rules. It's their platform. It's their world. They made the iPhone. Without it, there would be no App Store. On the other hand, Apple has definitely a monopoly of app purchases on the iPhone. You can always go get an Android phone. If you want to use an iPhone, you have to give Apple 30% for every purchase. And you have to give them a payment card. So I'd love to solve that one. And I will ask around about that. See if there's a better answer. So it's just very Apple. That's all I can say. It's a very Apple thing. And I'm sorry to say something I'm a little insensitive to because I just always give them that. It's like I don't even think about it. In fact, we have a family, credit card now. That's the new thing Apple does. And so everybody in my family can use my credit card. Thank you very much. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is going to be an interesting week. A reminder once again, June 1st, Tuesday, Google starts charging you for photos. If you've got a lot of photos that you want to store on Google Photos, good news, you have 2 days to upload those photos. They'll be free forever, but anything you upload after midnight on June 1st, this Tuesday, you'll be paying for. You get 15 gigs for free, and everything after that you have to pay for. So that's something to keep in mind. We're also excited because a week from Monday, Apple's going to have its Worldwide Developers Conference. Seems very likely Apple will announce at least 2 new laptops, a 14-inch and a 16-inch, and it may be the debut of a new Apple processor. They've been putting that M1 chip in everything. The MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, the Mac Mini, now the new iPad. But I think that they will have either an M1X, we don't know what they'll call it, M2, but an updated processor for more professional users, and that'll be coming out, I suspect, a week from Monday. So my advice for everybody, except for Kevin Jordan, America's funniest policeman, is not to buy an Apple product. You can buy an Apple Watch, but don't buy an Apple laptop, and maybe not even a desktop until you hear what they have to say on June 7th. I hope everybody has I want to say happy Memorial Day. I know lots of people will be barbecuing and enjoying the day off, but let's not forget those who've given their all for our country. Have a meaningful Memorial Day. I'm Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'll see you next week, right? Okay. Have a great Geek Week. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.